Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I am Part 2. Joining me today is my lizardy co-host, Danny the Lizard. Danny, say hi. Don't get stage fright. He's camera shy. Anyway, we got fairly basic week, 3 books, and then finally get to talk about the rest of Godzilla Rage Across Time, which is why I have a lizard co-host, because I wanted to get the lizard opinion on Godzilla Rage Across Time. No? I thought that was a good joke. I legit did think that through. And shit, everything I said might have been completely fucked up right there. I'm not sure. Anyway. Should restart the broadcast. That is just such a bad way to begin. Sorry for anyone that dealt with bad audio there in the beginning, watching live or after the fact. Scott's in the podcast, or in the live chat. Hi, Scott. Welcome. Well, got 3 people here. That's good enough. Let's go ahead and get into this. We're starting as always with the last thing I read, which is Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens. It seems like it's been a while since the last issue of this came out. Maybe they're just having trouble. Now for this, we get some more background on, what do they call him? Archbishop Emoji. He was like this robotic villain that they showed in the first issue, and it seemed like just kind of a throwaway gag, but now he's actually driving the story. And we get, like, a lot gets done in this issue for as long as it's been between books. A lot got done here. The art's pretty good, too. I just want to mention that. Some really nice looks at the Pred Alien. You good? He's good. Anyway, we get some really nice looks at the Pred Alien, which I quite like. As well as we get like that hybrid of a human and alien that's not stupid like Alien Resurrection. That's why you can't be on this show, is you're fucking distracting. Anyway, there's maybe a little bit too easy of a plot twist here. And with a lot of things that do a crossover with predators and humans and aliens, the predators end up kind of being the de facto good guy, at least from the stuff I've looked into. It's very rare for predators to just be the bad guy as well in a story about aliens and predators with humans involved. Predators kind of always come out as, how to put this, on the right side ultimately. But here it seems like they had a really good opportunity to at least have some really hard conflict between Judge Dredd and the Predators. And that's, he's escaping the facility that the Dr. Splicer guy owned. And he's got one of the other judges who's got a face hugger on him. And there's even some clever writing in here. Let me find the line. Looks like it's just you and me, Judge Gilligan. And for the record, you're about 3.5 kilograms over regulation weight. You're going on report once you get back to Omega City 1, after you get to medical. And he's holding the face-hugged judge. The face-hugger judge. So 3.5 kilograms would be I'm assuming, about the weight of a growing alien. That's growing chest burster, let me say it that way. That's clever writing. And then what happens as he's holding this guy is a predator spear just comes out of nowhere and kills the dude who's got the face hugger on him. And now Judge Dredd is pissed and he's ready to fight the predator that did it. That could have been a really good way to have Judge Dredd fighting both the predators and the aliens, and to just take Judge Anderson out of it, the psychic character. But instead, what they do is she's established a telepathic link with the predators. They've captured the bad guy, and then they went back to go find the predalien and the hybrid and kill them off, since they're, problems. And so she's like kind of brokered this peace, and she's able to explain to Dredd that they had to kill him. And I wouldn't have minded this plot twist. It feels like the rest of this issue should have been Dredd fighting the predators to a standstill. And instead it's, it just happens in like a page. I don't know, I feel like it would have worked better if it was, to make the predators more like less the good guys, I guess. So anyway, they're able to kill the predalien and the hybrid as a team. And then as they're about to go back to their ship, as the predators are about to go back to their ship with an injured member of their team, they realize it's been stolen by the scientist and Cardinal or Archbishop Emoji, and they're heading to Omega City 1, or Mega City 1, sorry. They're heading to Mega City 1 in order to release all these different kind of aliens on the population. And I like that they're really going places with the xenomorph aspect of the name. Kind of some neat stuff in here in this final panel, because the xenomorphs attach themselves to spliced humans, so you're getting some neat ideas of the biology. I particularly like this panel right here of kind of like an alien style xenomorph, where the mouth is replaced the trunk and you got the tusks. I really like that. Not sure what that's supposed to be on the side. I guess maybe just like a ram or something. And you got like a rhino there too. Let me look at what he had for animals. So we had a rhino, a deer, an elephant, and a wolf. So I guess that's supposed to be the deer with the multiple horns. I don't know, just, playing with the biology in clever ways. I like that. That's good writing for the xenomorphs, and it's fun to see. What the shit? Am I still going? Looks like it. Sorry, some weird-ass pop-up just came up. The benefits of doing live shows. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not. It's pretty good. It's a nice return to form with where the first issue was. I got a little kind of annoyed with the second. It was a pretty long wait for this, but I think it paid off ultimately. So yeah, overall I was pretty happy with this. Minor side note: I'm giving the art quite a bit of credit here. Whoever put in the title did not do a very good job, because you cannot read the word aliens properly. Like, it just, the A is hidden in that hand there. That's bad. That's bad graphic design. Otherwise, pretty good issue though. I enjoyed it. For as silly and crazy as this crossover is, it's exactly what I was hoping for. So that's good. Any live feedback? Matthew Bennett and Joel are here. Hello, gentlemen. Chris Hansen versus a Predator. Okay, moving right along to Star Wars Dr. Aphra #1. pick this up off the stands. So this is written by Kieran Gillen, who did the amazing Darth Vader run. And in that, he introduced the character Dr. Aphra, who is essentially kind of like an evil Indiana Jones, but in the Star Wars universe. And I mean, I can definitely tell it's Gillen writing it. It's just, I don't care for Dr. Aphra on her own. The only reason I'm reading this is because of them two. Them two right there. Reading it for 000 and BT1. And they are, unsurprisingly, fantastic. My favorite bit of dialogue between them is they follow this guy that's harassing Aphra about money into a bathroom. And 000 poisons the fuck out of him instantly. And they're like, I'm sure the poison would be discovered on a more developed world, but frankly, here life is cheap. Certainly far cheaper than this rather luxury-range neurotoxin. You have made a crucial, fatal mistake. I am enjoying my time in the company of Master Aphra, and as long as that remains true, I do not believe I'll let anything risk interfering with that. Let's hope the gangster ruffian who replaces you is more polite. And you get from BT1. No, you can't burn the body, BT. That may give away that this death wasn't entirely natural. No, spontaneous human combustion is not a thing. I just like that. That's just fun. Those two are just a bucket of fun in the most messed up way possible. As for Dr. Aphra herself, I mean, it's good. I'm not going to say it's not good. The comedy's written well, and we get the origin of how she got her degree in the first place, and yada, yada, yada. But man, I am just not feeling her as a character on her own. Also, we're having a hard time. Okay, here he goes. How'd that work out for you? It's a stupid animal. Let's watch that again, because it's about to come up for me. Poor guy. He's okay, ladies and gentlemen. He's fine. He just can't grab the desk on his own. You better slide up there. Oh, shit. No, don't get on the keyboard. That's a bad plan. Oh. Lizards do make adorable desk ornaments, if you were ever wondering. He'll go explore and find a place to hide now. As his tail. Anyway, on the art, we're having a hard time portraying exactly what race Dr. Aphra is supposed to be. Initially, when she was introduced, she looked pretty Asian. And in this backup story, that is definitely the look we're going for is someone who is fairly Asian, which fits with this new direction of a more diverse cast for Star Wars that they're going with. But in the beginning, maybe it's just the art style, but she just doesn't look particularly Asian in any of those panels. So I think maybe it's just artists not having a ton of experience drawing people of other races. I remember when New 52 started up, the Batwing book that came out when it was actually the Grant Morrison Batwing character. And in that, the artist did a phenomenal job on that first story arc. But in an interview, he was talking about how he just was really having a hard time doing it well because he'd never drawn that many black people in a book, because we just typically, faces in a crowd are mainly white people, and then maybe the colorist will throw something in or whatever. But as far as portraying minority races, a lot of artists just don't have a ton of experience with it just because they've not done a ton of portraits of people of different heritages. So that might be what's going on with Dr. Aphra's confused racial background. Bye, Danny. Once he settles in, I'll show you what he does. That might be what's going on. I'm not sure. Or maybe they're just not a good artist, because I don't love, like, a lot of this art in the main story, because we have two different artists working on here between the A story and the B story. Where we are after Darth Vader's death and the B story, or after Darth Vader's death. No, where we are after she was killed by Darth Vader, and then the B story being her origin. But the A story's art, things just don't quite look right. Like, look at the Wookiee bounty hunter in this panel. Something about that is just, it doesn't look like him. You know, it looks like a dog in the face. It looks like one of those, what's the breed? Ugh. Haley, help me out here. Does that look like a dog to you? In the face? No? Okay. Maybe I'm just crazy. You poor guy. Oh, he's moving my notebooks and stuff around back there. Yeah, so I don't know, just I'm not digging the art in the A story. The art in the B story looks fine, but it's much less oh, what's the word I want? It's not reaching quite as far. Like, it's much more simplistic. There's not as much crazy stuff that they have to draw. It's mostly just people, and there's some robots and various, like, aliens in the background. It's not as bold. Yeah, they draw like one alien over and over again at one point in the origin story, but that's about it. Nothing special's going on here, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Artist is Salvador Larroca, versus the artist in the A story is, or not. Maybe that's on this page then. Okay. Kev Walker. Yeah. So, just not digging the art style too much. I will say the book opens really well, though I kind of called it just because. So, not too much to say about this. Because of how much I like Gillen's Darth Vader run, and because of how much I like 000 and BT1, I'm going to pick up at least 2 more issues of this, and from that point I'll decide whether or not it goes on my full list. But as it stands, if I were just judging based on this first issue, no, I don't think so. All right. Let's do a quick preview of what Danny is up to, because he's hilarious. Hey, buddy. No, it's dark back there as far as the camera's concerned. Yeah. Can't see him very well, but yeah. He just goes to the back of my desk and cuddles up. It's kind of funny. Lizards make absolutely adorable desk ornaments, and now the camera's all jiggly. There we go. So yeah, if you ever need a unique desk ornament to get someone, Bearded Dragon. Highly recommended. It's a lot of cleaning. Live It Live Lizard Show. That's right. He wanted to co-host with me, though. All right. And then final single issue of the week is Batman number 12 by Tom King. What do you want me to say, guys? It's genius. It's great. It's incredibly fun. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It's kick-ass. Wait 1 second. Oh, they're doing a Commandi on our limited series. That should be interesting. Anyway, we get there's so much dumb in this issue. It's heartbreaking. It's kick-ass. It's absolutely not subtle, which I love. It's emotionally impactful. It's personal. It says everything about who Batman is, but in a way that we haven't done a lot, and I quite like that. And it's all just one big scene. That's great. It's incredibly well done. Yeah, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure, but I want to just double check before I say that and then realize I'm wrong. Thrilling video, I'm sure. This is just the most entertaining kind of review show you could be watching. Yeah, it's all one continuous scene. Joel in the comments is asking, is it better than Grant Morrison? No. But it's damn close. If it keeps going, maybe. If it keeps going as strongly as it is, maybe. Because King's pushing the art form on its own, just like Morrison did, but in a different way, which I like. Because Morrison was pushing what you could do storytelling-wise, and while his panel structure and artistic direction was good and had some interesting things in there, it wasn't, at least if memory serves, it wasn't quintessential to the story. There wasn't anything communicated by the way the panels themselves were laid out, but instead it was like, there are important panels and things that you only get if you look for it in the panels in Morrison's run, but they were callbacks or references to other things that helped him build his story thematically. They weren't dynamic panel layout for its own sake, like this is to help further the story itself, that the single story that you're reading one issue at a time. So like the spoilers for this issue if you haven't read it yet, but we get something that normally I do not like. I am always bothered by this when a lot of writers do it, and yet that doesn't stop them. And that is to go back to the origin and add something to it. That really can bug the shit out of me, because it's just lazy writing too often. Not that it can't be done well. This is an example of when it can be. But like when you go back to the origin or you retroactively add things to the character's past just to be able to tell your story, it really cheapens things. And it's not 100%. Again, there's plenty of exceptions. But it's something that's hard to do well. So the big controversial thing about this is that Bruce Wayne, when he was a child, shortly after losing his parents, famously made that vow. He made a prayer the night they died that he would declare war on criminals and fight to end crime. What King has added is that he was planning to commit suicide before he made that vow. And the 90% of this story is told just in a letter that Bruce Wayne has written to Selina Kyle. And so the dialogue, or the letter, sorry, has several moments that are really, really great. I'm going to read the shit out of it on these 2 pages where it all builds up to the conclusion, but you really should read this on your own because it's really well done. I was 10. I got one of my father's razor blades and I got down on my knees. I put the metal on my wrist, the edge scratching cold, the blood on my hand, and I looked up to Mother and Father. I told them I was sorry. I was so sorry. I was on my knees in Gotham, and I was praying, pushing my hands together now, the blood and the blade warm between them. I prayed, and no one answered. No one answered. No one answered. No one answered. Again, that theme of repetition keeps coming up. I was alone. Like everyone else, like everyone in Gotham. I saw everyone in Gotham, all of us. We're all on our knees, our hands together, the blood and the blade warm between them. We pray and no one answers. I saw and I understood. Finally, kindness, dignity. I let the razor fall and I understood it was done. I'd done it. I'd surrendered. My life was no longer my life, and I whispered, I swear by the spirits of my parents to avenge their deaths by spending the rest of my life warring on all criminals. So that's what it is. The ears, the belt, the gargoyle. It's not funny. It's the choice of a boy. The choice to die. I am Batman. I am suicide. Hence the name of the arc. There's so much shit to unpack there. And he's obviously touching on an idea that's been brought up again and again. And I really like that. In R.I.P., you have this great moment right before the Black Gloves plan to make Bruce lose his sense of self, to attack his mind, has its effect on him. Jezebel Jet says, Bruce, you've taken all your money and all your resources and you've turned it into something. You've turned yourself into the hero that you wished for as a boy. And then she goes off and it develops into the plot, the main plot of R.I.P. And then you have in one of my favorite single Batman story, still, Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader, you have that just fucking goddamn Neil Gaiman. You have that beautiful exchange of dialogue between Bruce Wayne and his mother, or Batman and his mother. And he says, time to let go, to go to my final reward. And she cuts him off and is like, you don't get heaven or hell, Bruce. You get to be Batman. So it's an idea that I am just always so in love with this character of his reward for being Batman is Batman. He gets to be the thing that he wished he would have had the night that everything went wrong for him. And this is solidifying that more. It's not his life that he's put on the line. He gave up his life when he was a child, and he gave it over to being Batman, to surrender his life for others. So being the act of being Batman is an act of suicide, because that's how the story of Batman ends. He dies. Again, Cape Crusade, whatever happened to the Cape Crusader. Batman dies. End of story. He's not going to retire and play golf. It's a beautiful fucking story. Batman rips his way through Bane's personal army to get to Bane, and once he gets there, he's absolutely ragged, and it looks like Catwoman maybe betrayed him, or maybe she's not. It's who knows. Just god damn, guys, how good is this shit? And I'm slobbering all over my comic. That's not good. Yeah. This looks really weird. Yeah. What a brilliant story. Tom King. Can someone just please chain Tom King to a desk and, like, never let him quit writing Batman? Because, like, even if it devolved into just Batman saying over and over again, someone unchain me from this fucking desk right now, I'm, like, 90% confident it'd still be brilliant. Anyway. Aw, Danny's snuggling. Go pick up just everything Tom King's writing with Batman. Go pick up all 12 issues. It's great. Oh, the annual is fun too. Okay. Give me a minute. I'm going to prepare these. I should have done this before the show. I apologize. Sorry, some of them are in boards. Just the first two, though. Okay. So here we are with Godzilla Rage Across Time, which ultimately I did enjoy. Not as much as not to the point at which I did the first issue ever again. The first issue is mainly the art that blew me away, and the art never gets that good again, though it does try. No, it doesn't get that good again because it doesn't try to be the art from that era of history that they're in again. It's regular comic art. So I'm going to go issue by issue. I'm only going to talk about the first issue for a couple minutes, though. Not minutes. I'm only going to talk about the first issue very briefly because I already did the review of it. Again, what is brilliant about this is the art. Getting to see, like, the way they depict everything, especially Godzilla, in this kind of classic style of Japanese art is really, really cool and super enjoyable. Story, I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense, and it never really goes anywhere, oddly enough. Because, like, they defeat the monsters by, like, wrestling control away from this Mongol invader who has some kind of futuristic technology. They destroy it, so then Godzilla's able to just beat the monsters back. And so that's fine. It never really goes anywhere, I don't think. Maybe I don't know enough about Godzilla and they didn't explicitly state it enough or conclude it in any way that made sense to me. You know, I talked about not wanting to review the issues out of sequence because I was curious about the main line plot, or the main line, the present day plot with these archaeologists that are tracking Godzilla through history. And they pose a couple interesting theories here and there, like maybe Godzilla isn't a single lone monster, maybe he's a species, maybe there have been thousands throughout history, yada yada yada. It never amounts to anything. Literally nothing in the present day plot ever affects anything. It serves primarily as a framing device. It never develops into anything on its own. It's kind of impressive that they took the time to do that, because it really would have just been fine to just tell different Godzilla stories throughout history. I will say, given Godzilla's original origin, that's a weird thing to say, original origin, of being created by the atomic bomb in some way, shape, or form, it doesn't make a ton of sense to have Godzilla be basically modern Godzilla throughout history. It's a different version. Maybe it's more in line with the 2014 thing. I don't know. I don't particularly care because I'm not a huge Godzilla hound or anything like that, continuity-wise. I just thought it'd be an interesting thing. So yeah, first issue, definitely the best. And because the present day stuff never amounts to anything, just get this. You'll be fine. This is all you need. The other issues are okay. I'll talk about what I like about the other issues, but this is the one that's worth getting. If you're only going to get one issue from this run, get the first issue. You'll be fine. Okay. Moving on to the second issue. And again, I'm going to talk about these issue by issue just because they literally, besides Godzilla and the archaeologist plot that goes nowhere, you don't need to know anything to read each issue, which is nice. What is an interesting recurring thing is magic in the Godzilla universe, because you have magic-based attacks in the Japanese historical issue, and in this issue, you literally have Godzilla fighting the gods of Olympus, and that's really cool. So you have Godzilla versus Poseidon, which is neat, and then Godzilla versus Mount Olympus. And then they do think of a really clever conceit here for putting Godzilla in this era of history. This is a bit of a dialogue between Zeus and Hera. Zeus, please hear me. Poseidon, now Ares, we're powerless against this in our state. Speak for yourself. I've summoned the Hydra to take care of this beast. And so you have Godzilla versus the mythological Hydra, which is a clever idea. And they do a good job of portraying the fight of Godzilla versus the Hydra and how that would be a difficult thing for him. And what does Godzilla do? He slams it into Mount Olympus so that it can't get out, which is kind of similar to how Hercules beat it. Just raw strength clubbed the thing to death. Slams it against Mount Olympus and brings the whole fucking mountain down on its head. And then it's Godzilla versus Zeus. And in order to defeat Godzilla, Zeus being the only god left now, has to use all of his divine power to bring it down upon Godzilla. And he wins. But he's completely drained, and so he's no longer a god, he's just immortal. And I have to give it the conceit that he is immortal, because otherwise this next part makes no sense. So he's just immortal, and now he travels the world up until Pompeii, where he's writing his journal, and then the mountain goes off, and he's petrified forever. And then you get, again, the modern day stuff. You get like a cool little classic style drawing of classic Greek style drawing of Godzilla. And the way that, and it's revealed that Mount Pompeii went off because Godzilla didn't actually die. He was like thrown under the earth by fighting Zeus. Like when Zeus threw all his power at Godzilla, it sent him like crazy into crazy depths of the earth. And so now he's and he spent all those years digging out and came out in Mount Pompeii. Clever enough. Kind of stupid, kind of clever. Nice little middle ground. Okay. And I actually like how that serves as a bit of an explanation for why he's gone for such a long period of time. Like why Rome never had to deal with him, I guess. But I don't know, it was cool. And then the next issue is the one I like the least because it has no Godzilla in it. At least I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Yeah. I'm sure I've got Godzilla fans in the comments and such. I know Mothra. Who's this fucker right here? He flies around. Anyone can give me a name, I would greatly appreciate it. There's a better look at him. I'm sure he has some kind of name, I just don't know what it is. Megaguirus. Thank you, Joel. Megaguirus? Megaguirus. Okay. So anyway, this issue I like the least because Godzilla isn't involved at all. It's Mothra versus Megaguirus. Basically, the plague's in town, but the king sends a bunch of knights out to go slay a dragon because Megaguirus is out there. Twin fairies show up. Mothra fights them. Knights are able to ultimately defeat the monster. Mothra dies in the process. Blah, 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 blah. The knights try to go back to the castle in victory, but they're shot at the doors because now they have the plague. Meh. I don't really like that issue very much. This is probably the worst issue of the run. Yeah, worst issue of the run. Sorry, I was reading Joel's comments. Worst issue of the run because Godzilla's not involved, so I don't give it 2 fucks. Next issue, very close second to the first issue. Again, what sends the first issue over is the art. The story is just okay, not, excuse me. The story is just okay, not super interesting, but the art is such a cool take and a perfect way to portray that it sends the first issue over into being great. This issue has a fantastic story, even if it's a little convenient, little crazy at times. But man, oh man, do I love the idea that they're going with here and the way in which they're portraying it. Let's talk about Hannibal of Carthage. You know me, I love me some history. So let's do the background on here, because if you don't understand the background, you don't understand why this issue is as cool as it is. So you had the two world powers at the time, Rome and the city-state of Carthage, which was in northern Africa, and Rome's like here in Italy, so they're actually fairly close. And they're, territorial rivals. The Romans famously ended up turning the Mediterranean at one point into an Italian sea, or an Italian lake. So they were very hostile to any other powers acting within the area. Carthage was another power acting within the area, so you had wars between the two civilizations constantly. Hannibal was a great general of Carthage. And he pulled off one of the most batshit crazy war maneuvers in history. Like, Alexander the Great gets all this credit for all these brilliant maneuvers and shit, and, you know, more power to him. Hannibal of Carthage, hold on, I gotta explain the territory, otherwise you don't understand why this is as impressive. Okay, so you have Rome, which is not too close to the sea, but an approach from the sea would give them too much notice to fortify and everything and set up defense. So you can't do naval bombardment because they're way too far away. It's like 50 miles or something. You can't come in from the north. There's no access, and there's way too much defense capability, so you can't bombard them from the north. The only way to attack Rome, because of its natural defenses of just where it's geographically located, is an impossible way to attack Rome in that era, because you had to go through fucking mountains. And just getting an army to march through fields is enough of a pain because you got all the equipment and everything. But fucking mountains? Are you crazy? There's no way. Hannibal of Carthage took his men through the mountains of Italy right to Rome's doorstep. And that's pretty impressive on its own. I mentioned Carthage was in Africa. Didn't I? I'm pretty sure I mentioned Carthage was in Africa. You know what the Africans used as a war vehicle or used in battle for war purposes? Elephants. Yeah. No, the Africans used elephants in war. So Hannibal of Carthage, and I just want you to try to understand how fucking crazy this is. Hannibal of Carthage not only managed to get an ancient army through the mountains to attack Rome at its front doorstep, he got fucking elephants to climb not a mountain, mountains plural. So using Hannibal of Carthage and his trek through the mountains with elephants as the basis for your Godzilla historical story is just, it's A+ work right here. Okay. So how does Godzilla factor in? Godzilla is what's going to create the path to be able to get through. Oh. How do you get elephants on the boat? That's actually really easy. You can transport elephants, no problem. Especially if you don't have ethics. That's a stupid question. So anyway, what's going on in this story is Hannibal is trying to get the elephants across the mountains, but he's not having much success. Rome is too heavily, the mountains are just too impassable. But Godzilla is also in the mountains, and so Hannibal uses his men to, like, and he describes it with this beautiful metaphor of ants versus a rhino, which is an actual thing that happens in Africa. How ants can actually kill or maneuver a rhino where they want it to be. So he uses his men to constantly, like, basically poke Godzilla with a stick and then run in the direction they want him to destroy stuff so that they can pass through that area later. And so that's what they keep doing. They keep just bothering Godzilla enough, and tricking him into creating a passage through the mountains for him. And so it all ends with this fucking awesome panel of, oh shit, lose my comic, awesome ass panel of Godzilla blasting radiation breath through the mountain with Rome, through the mountains in the distance, and the shot is from Rome. That's really cool. That's just really fucking cool. Oh, and it's all just about Hannibal wanting to win at any cost. And ultimately, as impressive as Hannibal getting elephants through the mountains of Italy to attack Rome with was, he did lose that battle. So yeah, just really interesting stuff. I quite like this issue. This issue, like, the art's fine. There's nothing wrong with the art. It's just not Roman or anything, or Carthaginian would have been. It's not in the style of an ancient art form. It's just kind of in modern comic style. Yeah. But I like the way that Hannibal is portrayed as wanting to win at any cost, but he loses half of his men and resources doing it, so he ends up losing the battle. It's pretty brilliant. Yeah, just good-ass issue. I really, really like this issue. Like I said, second favorite to the opening issue. Then we have the final issue, which is kind of fun, but also doesn't make much sense. So here we do have the Godzilla and other gigantic monsters like him are so rooted in Earth's history that they go back to the prehistoric, to the time of dinosaurs. So we got this opening scene, not counting the modern stuff with the archaeologists. Got an opening scene of a T-Rex chasing the Triceratops. Then he stops, like it's about to eat him, when a giant crab comes out of the water and almost grabs him. But the crab gets grabbed by an even larger squid, and before either of those two can eat the Triceratops and the T-Rex, I believe that's Rodan. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think that's Rodan. Pterodactyl good thing. Something like Rodan comes in and eats the T-Rex and Triceratops and then flies away. And then that gets blasted with radiation breath, presumably from one of these fucks. So we've got this food chain established. And this issue is all art. All it is just gigantic battles between all these fucking monsters until we have the meteor strike begin. And it starts to wipe things out and or bury them far underground. King Ghidorah shows up. I don't quite get it. Like, this is the problem that you face when you do all art. I'm pretty sure King Ghidorah is supposed to be a native Earth inhabitant at that point. And it's killing multiple Mothras, which is neat. And then, I don't know if you guys tell me, King Ghidorah, can he do this shit in the movies? Because he, like, transforms into kind of a man-looking thing almost. He gets arms. He's still got 3 heads, but they're, like, more centrally located. And then he starts fighting Godzilla like that. That was a weird choice. I don't quite understand that. Like, I agree. Give King Ghidorah arms, but... Okay, so he can do that shit. Alright, fine. Anyway. So yeah, Godzilla and King Ghidorah fight, and then aliens invade. Because why not? And then the aliens deposit humans on the planet, tell them the monsters won't be a problem anymore, and tell them to start populating the Earth as the monsters are buried underneath everything. But in the end, Godzilla comes back up, and so people are fossilized next to dinosaurs, and that's where this whole thing started. Again, I like each individual story to one extent or another, except for issue 3, which is, I think, objectively the weakest because there's no Godzilla. It's not called Mothra Rage Against Time. So yeah, just every story on its own is fine, but the framing device of the archaeologist means so little and doesn't build to anything. This needs an issue 6 where it's just them presenting a paper or something. I don't know what else to tell you. It's kind of a silly way to put a framing device in if you're not going to go anywhere with it. Poor decision making on the writer's side. I mean, I guess the framing device could have been fine, but they shouldn't have alluded that they were building anywhere with it, or they should have written a more convincing conclusion, because all it becomes is this weird, like, exposition dump that we don't need because we obviously get it already. Or it just becomes a setup of, oh no, look, see, this is how monsters could have been involved, and then we go and we see monsters involved. So generally speaking, not a fan of that part of it. But overall, it was a fun story. Nowhere near as good as Godzilla, the Half-Century War. I was really hoping the rest of the comic would be as good as that first issue. So this is a book, again, because the overarching thing of the stuff happening in the present day means absolutely nothing. You don't have to pick up every issue. I would say pick up issue 1, 2, 4. Those are the issues worth getting. 3 and 5, like if you like just seeing nothing but art of monster fights and very little dialogue or exposition, fine, go with it. Number 3, if you like Mothra, okay, but those two are the most skippable. Yeah, 1, 2, 4. As far as order of good, 1's at the top, then 4, then 2. Just neat little things going on. Interesting ideas played with in all of them, which I really like. If you like monster fights, you might like 2 more, just because of the Hydra thing. I really, really like that they parallel Godzilla with Hercules in that way. That's funny. Okay, that's going to do it for comic reviews. I'm sorry, guys, I don't have time to do a Q&A tonight. I've got to record a video with Rasco. We will be talking about the Green Lantern Larfleeze Christmas special. We're going to be reviewing that. That'll be up next Thursday. Tomorrow, we did an episode on 4 Christmases, so you can check that out. That'll be posted around 12:30-ish in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So I hope you check that out. If you're watching this after the live event, you can go check that out now, maybe. Possibly. Might already be up. Why not look? My channel, you're already on my page. All you gotta do is click my name. All right, everyone. Thank you very, very much for watching. Until next time. Bye.